Ooh, what's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF, fellow up to WBRB, and welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, not 2020, not yet at least. We are back with the Invasion Series, aka Season 2 of the Invasion Series, also known as the Brand Era, and tonight we are booking everybody's favorite program. No, it's not Raw. It's not Nitro. Almost said SmackDown. It's not a pay-per-view, although those are always popular. It ain't even the new TNA. No sirree, Bob. We are watching Sunday Night Heat. And tonight on Heat, the Tag Team Championships will be on the line as Jim Cornette's new team of Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway. For some reason, I can't think of their name off the top of my head right now, but the team of Rob Conway and Nick Dinsmore will challenge for the Tag Team Championships. Champions, of course, being Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. And just incredible, after months, you could say years, of trying to, get in that spotlight tonight, he gets his chance as he will challenge the new MTV champion Hardcore Holly for the championship. That and more tonight on Heat. Alright, let's get it started, shall we? We have a couple of pre-show matches as per usual, just trying to get some people over while also just using some people as well. Anyway, 31E plus rating in an abysmal pre-show matchup. Ron Waterman going over Joe E. Legend in 6 minutes 27 seconds by pinfall. Doesn't have a finish, apparently. He is better than Legend by 1 point, but still better, interesting enough. Waterman with a 30 in-ring performance. Legend with a 29. No worker improvements. We move on to our next segment here. We get a 31E plus rating. In an abysmal pre-show match, the Samoan Savages, Ekmu, or is it Ekmu? E-K-M-O, however you say that. Ekmu and Umaga going over Acid Drop, two of our developmental superstars, Chance Beckett and Trent Acid. Or excuse me, that's not Trent Acid, that's Tony Kozinga. Anyway, they beat him with the Acid Drop in 5 minutes 44 seconds after Umaga defeated Chance Beckett with the Samoan Drop. Oh wait, no, they didn't beat him with Acid Drop. That's the name of the damn team, stupid. Anyway, Kozinga with a 26 in-ring performance. Chance Beckett with an 18. Umaga with a 32. And Kimu, so Ekmu was Umaga's name. Kimu is Rosie's former name. So there we go. And no worker improvements. And finally, the main event of the pre-show. We get a 58C minus rating. And a pre-show bout that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat to it. Shawn Stasiak. Did anyone forget about him? Because I sure have. Shawn Stasiak going over Cody Hawk, another one of our developmental superstars, in 6 minutes 16 seconds by pinfall. Apparently, Shawn Stasiak and Cody Hawk have great chemistry with each other, and it showed in their performance. That's, okay. I guess that's good to know. Shawn Stasiak looked excellent out there with an in-ring performance of a 73. Cody Hawk with a 21. Shawn Stasiak improving in his performance skills. Good job overall. All right, we start off the show with a 55C minus rating as Sunday Night Heat opens up with Just Incredible and Tank Abbott making their way towards the ring for our opening MTV Championship matchup. While, of course, they make their way towards the ring, a recap plays highlighting last week when Just Incredible and Tank Abbott jumped Hardcore Holly post-match after, of course, when Holly won that championship against 3 other superstars in a fatal 4-way matchup. Once in the ring, Just Incredible takes to the mic. Finally has Mr. Paul Heyman taken notice of the next best thing. And all it took was beating up old Hardcore Holly. In fact, I heard he was so heated over that beatdown that he personally requested a match against yours truly. You know what? But be careful what you wish for, Hardcore. Be careful what you wish for. Bobby, because soon you'll learn that Just Incredible is just in. But that's when we hear that. How do you like me now? Hardcore Holly. What a horrible rendition. But you know you like that. How do you like me now? Anyway, Hardcore Holly, the MTV champion, the inaugural MTV champion, makes his way down to the ring, cutting off Just Incredible, and he just races towards the ring like a bat out of hell. He wants revenge. Just Incredible wants this matchup. One thing is true, Hardcore Holly did personally request this matchup against Just Incredible, stating, from what I heard at least, that if he wants a fight, I'll give him a damn fight, and I have no problem putting the title on the line. And here we go. Matchup is on the way. Credible versus Holly. Just Incredible is getting better at his gimmick. Tank Abbott came across as well. That's good. And no worker improvements as we head on to our opening match of the night, which gets a 54C- rating. And about that had subpar wrestling and little heat to it. Hardcore Holly defeats Just Incredible in 7 minutes 50 seconds when Just Incredible was disqualified after Tank Abbott ran in and attacked Hardcore Holly. So Holly does make his first defense of the Heat MTV Championship, but not in the way that he would want to, as things aren't looking too good for Just Incredible in this matchup, which, eventually leads to Tank Abbott interfering on behalf of Just Incredible to ensure that even though Credible does lose the matchup, he doesn't lose the matchup, if you get where I'm going with that. Tank Abbott did some good work ringside. That's interesting to note. Just Incredible with a 52 in-ring performance. Hardcore Holly with a 53, 1 point above Justin. No worker improvements here. Then a 51 D+ rating afterwards as Just Incredible and Tank Abbott continue to beat down on Hardcore Holly. That, of course, until Ron Waterman makes the save, chasing Tank Abbott and Just Incredible up, helping Hardcore Holly up to his feet. And I don't know if there's an alliance here or maybe just mutual enemies, but I have a feeling that we haven't seen the end of Hardcore Holly and Just Incredible, and we might just be beginning to see the beginning of something here with Ron Waterman and, possibly Just Incredible, possibly Tank Abbott. Hell, maybe even possibly Hardcore Holly. Maybe we do have a team in our hands. All right, moving on. 59 solid C rating as we take it back to Josh Matthews, who is joined by Jim Cornette and the Lords of the Ring, Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me at this time, Jim Cornette and the Lords of the Ring. Gentlemen, you've made quite the impact right off the back, beaten the tag team champions last week, and then tonight you find yourselves back in the ring with the champions, but this time the titles are on the line. That's right, Matthews. Heyman, like always, let's negotiate. Jump the gun there. That doesn't say negotiate. Let's rewind on this one, shall we, you guys? That's right, Matthews. Heyman, like always, lets nepotism get the best of him as he weighs the odds in the favor of the ECW buddies to ensure that his guys walk away as the first in hopefully a long line of Heat Tag Team Champions. But when it comes to actual wrestling match, well, wouldn't you want to know who won the pony, huh? Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway. That's who. The Lords of the Ring. That's who. Dinsmore then steps up. I gotta think of a voice to do for Nick Dinsmore. I obviously don't want him to be Eugene and be like, "We're here," but at the same time, I'm trying to think of a unique voice that's not generic. But anyway, here comes my first attempt at a Nick Dinsmore voice here. By the way, I can do a way better Jim Cornette. That was a horrible Jim Cornette. I was thrown off. Anyway, here we go. We're here to bring wrestling back into professional wrestling. For far too long has wrestling been corrupted by trapeze artists and psychos with weapons. Speaking with psychos with weapons, that's thanks to you, Mr. Heyman. But tonight, Tommy, Sandy, we're going to take you back to school tonight. No weapons, just good old-fashioned wrestling. That's, of course, if you two dimwits can even keep up which we all know you can't. So allow me to play spoiler tonight, Matthews. Tonight, your new Heat Tag Team Champions, the Lords of the Ring. Thank you and goodbye. I so wanted to put the thank you, fuck you, goodbye on that one, but it wasn't going to happen. I realistically could not get away with saying that on TV, so I couldn't put it in. But y'all know where I was trying to go with that. Either way, Jim Cornette and the Lords of the Ring, very confident tonight that they are going to be the new Heat Tag Team Champions, talking about how they're going to bring wrestling back to professional wrestling. No more psychos with canes like the Sandman and Tommy Dreamer. No more trapeze artists, just good old-fashioned wrestling. Anyway, we do have a couple of things here in the backstage area. Rhino, we all know who Rhino is, the protege of Stone Cold Steve Austin, that is now muscular, so he went from being toned to muscular. Rhino is looking to become a future world champion. Speaking of proteges, Shawn Michaels, HB Shizzle, has taken Rob Conway of the Lords of the Ring under his wing. Not win, but wing. Which, with the whole Stephanie thing now, and Stephanie going off and creating her own company now that she's out of our company, and with the possibility that Triple H might follow her, maybe Rob Conway joins the clique. Who knows? Either way, though, that's going to advance that storyline. No worker improvements here as we move on to our next segment, which is Tag Team Action. 44 solid D rating, as we have a bout that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, as the Alpha Males, Mark Henry and Monty Brown, go over the Briscoe brothers, Mark and Jay Briscoe, in 4 minutes, 2 seconds, after Mark Henry defeated Mark Briscoe with the Power Slam, most likely the world's strongest slam. Mark Briscoe is getting better at his gimmick. All right. The announcing quality lifted the match, cooled the crowd down a little bit here. Mark Briscoe with an in-ring performance of a 31. Jay Briscoe with a 27. Golly, they're pretty good, man. I might end up having to hire you guys. Monty Brown with an in-ring performance of a 50. Mark Henry with a 49. No worker improvements there as we move on to our next segment, which gets a... Why is Mark Briscoe in this? Which gets a 58 C- rating. After the match, Monty Brown takes to the mic. Rikishi, I hope your fat ass is listening along with Breakdancing Boy. Because of our feud, neither of us walked out as the Heat Tag Team Champions. And now we got two backyard wrestlers as champions and a bunch of nobodies challenging for the belts. This needs to end, because I won't have a bunch of dancing fools hold my career back. And I know Mark feels the same. So here's what I propose. At the next Super Show, because let's be honest, Mark and I are far too busy to show up here every week. But at the next Super Show, you two versus the Alpha Males. We end this. Henry then notices one of the Briscoes getting up, and of course that must be Mark Briscoe, because Mark Henry then picks Mark Briscoe up, stares right into the camera, and then hits him with the world's strongest slam. Sending a message sent to Too Cool, Rikishi, and Scotty 2 Hotty. Monty Brown and, of course, Monty Brown and Rikishi have been at each other's throats since Sunday Night Heat has become a separate brand, all kind of starting over the Heat Heavyweight Championship. And now, the Heat Tag Team Championship, Monty Brown feels that Rikishi has cost him the heavyweight, now the tag team titles. He doesn't want his career to be held back anymore, and he thinks it's about time they put it behind him, and he laid the challenge out. So, well, let's see if Rikishi and Scotty are going to accept the challenge, but I'm sure they will. Moving on to our next segment, we have a 64 solid C rating as we are backstage with our newest backstage interviewer for Sunday Night Heat, Deborah. We are backstage right outside the office of the GM, Paul Heyman. Deborah then knocks on the door, and that's when Taz opens the door, then looks at Deborah, closes the door in her face before the door opens again, and out is Paul Heyman. Deborah, my dear, how can I help you? Well, Mr. Heyman, as a new backstage interviewer here, I'm here to get the truth. And tonight, Mr. Jim Cornette has accused you of being nepotistic, whatever that means. And I'd like you to give us a response. I'm well aware of what Corny said. And if it's a response you want, my dear, it's a response you'll get. Listen here, Jim Cornette. You accuse me of nepotism, the same guy who started his own company and put him and his team as the focal point of a program. Whereas when I ran ECW, I gave anyone and everyone a shot, along with highlighting what makes them them. You accuse the Sandman and Tommy Dreamer of being unworthy champions, despite them not beating not one, not two, but 3 teams in a ladder match for the titles. You say a ladder match isn't a wrestling match, and I say you're just playing catch-up. But instead of talking for Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman, I'll let them do the talking for themselves tonight when they spoil Jimmy Cornette's spoiler and shows him that he's just stuck in the past. Thank you, Deborah. Well, Paul Heyman doesn't take too kindly of being called, being accused of nepotism and kind of fired back at Corny there. So things are getting a little heated there between the two rivals of Paul E. Dangerously and James E. Cornette. Deborah improving in acting as well. Look at that. We gave her a backstage interview role, and she kills it. 45 solid D rating as we send it back to Josh Matthews once again, who is now with Hardcore Holly and Ron Waterman. Ladies and gentlemen, shut up, Matthews. Credible? You and that meathead think you're a bunch of Billy badasses because you can jump me from behind week after week. Well, looks like I've got a meathead of my own. And from what he's told me, you two got history, don't you, Tank? Abbott! You've been avoiding me for a long time. You were too afraid to step into the octagon with me, so you ran to the square ring thinking you can avoid me, didn't you? You didn't think I'd come and find you. Well, I did, and I'm here. So as the MTV champion, I've got championship responsibilities, and I've got to defend this title every week. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to pull double duty. So if you two are men, you'll step in the ring with Ron and me, or you two will run away to the backyard this time. Well, a challenge has been made. Apparently, excuse me, let me take a drink of our sponsor of the video, who's not our sponsor, but you know what? If you're looking to sponsor me, I can always use some money. Arizona Iced Tea, everybody. An American company. Green tea, now with ginseng and honey. Yummy. Oh, that's good. That is delicioso. Anyway, challenge has been made. Hardcore. Ron Waterman apparently has history with Tank. They both have an MMA background. They never have fought each other. According to Waterman here, or I guess according to Hardcore Holly, well, no, I guess Waterman kind of spelled it out for us there. Either way, from what we learned here, Tank Abbott and Ron Waterman have never met in the octagon, and Abbott's been avoiding Waterman, apparently. According to Waterman, allegedly. So Hardcore Holly issues the challenge. He knows he's got to pull double duty. Next week, he will defend the Heat MTV Championship against another competitor, but he's willing to pull double duty, and he's willing to have a tag team matchup. So we might be seeing double hardcore next week. Lost Heat for the storyline, though. That's a bit unfortunate. Moving on to the... Wow. Batista must have some freaking menace. Because holy crap, that has no right getting a 76 B- rating for him not even being on the screen. 76 B- rating. Batista is in action next. And next it is, as we head up to our next matchup. 46 solid D rating here. And a terrible matchup. Batista defeats Balls Mahoney in 3 minutes, 13 seconds, with the Spine Buster making quick work of the former ECW alumni that a pretty vocal crowd didn't seem particularly thrilled with seeing wrestle. It's unfortunate for Balls Mahoney. He's actually not that bad, so I'm wondering why they hated him so much. Anyway, Balls was off his game. Batista getting better at his gimmick. This did cool the crowd. Balls with an in-ring performance of a 39. Batista with a 47. Batista's getting pretty good so far. No worker improvements. As we move on to our next segment, A little bit of a hype segment here at 43 Solid D as the return of D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown will be returning to Sunday Night Heat. I told you guys, a second D'Lo Brown dropped that HWA championship. I was pretty much guaranteed that I was going to be hiring or bringing D'Lo Brown up to the main roster. I'm a huge D'Lo Brown mark, so yeah, I'm excited that we're gonna get to book him finally. All right, moving on to our next segment, 65 Solid C rating as we take it backstage to Deborah once again, this time with the number one contender, Sean O'Haire. Joining me at this time is the number one contender for the Heat Heavyweight Championship, Sean O'Haire. Sean, next week you'll finally get your opportunity at your former tag team partner, Chuck Palumbo. Deborah, have you ever been betrayed? You know, when I came to the WWE, I came as an enemy, determined to kill my competition alongside my best friend. But as always, a girl came between us. But it's almost bittersweet how she dropped him the second he couldn't prove his worth. So much so that neither Raw or Nitro wanted him on their roster. So he was sent down here with me. A shark in a pond, he says, but I'm a piranha, Deborah, and I'm hungry. And next week can't come soon enough. Aw, as Chuck Palumbo says as he enters from off the screen. What a dark and brooding speech there, Batman. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But you're actually not getting a heavyweight championship matchup next week. And what have you done now? It's not what I've done, Sean. It's what Mr. Heyman has done. You see, Mr. Heyman really didn't like me just granting you a title shot. So, instead of you just getting a title shot, he's going to put you in a number one contendership match. That's the least I can do, right? Right. I'm sure it was all Heyman's idea. Whatever. Who's the other guy in the match? That's when Billy Gunn steps up. That would be me. You know, I should have guessed. It doesn't matter, though. Next week, I'll make you regret taking that match, Billy. And then after that, nothing can stop me from putting you down, Chucky. Till next week, Billy. Well, you heard it there. The match has been set. I'm assuming Chuck Palumbo pulled some strings there to make it so that Sean O'Haire didn't get his championship match. But, I mean, that would be me accusing Chucky of something. So, who knows? Maybe Paul Heyman really did decide that, you know, it's not right for you to just be given a championship matchup. And therefore put him in this number one contendership match against Billy Gunn. Not exactly sure why Billy Gunn would be in this matchup, though. So that's what makes me go ahead and think there's a little bit of fishiness here with Chuck Palumbo. Nonetheless, though, announcing quality did lift this segment up. Chuck Palumbo was good. Billy Gunn apparently performed a bit poorly in this segment, but not too much that it held it back. 65 solid C overall here. And we move on to our next segment, which is a 77 solid B rating, as Paul Heyman is making his way down towards the ring as he is going to, he's going to be joining commentary, spoiler report, for our next matchup here. And as he is making his way down towards the ring, Shawn Stasiak tries to stop Mr. Heyman. Hey, Mr. Heyman, can I talk to you, please? I've been trying to get a hold of you. And Heyman like, another time. I'm busy, Shawn. So kind of just blowing off Shawn Stasiak while Stasiak's kind of getting frustrated because he let's be honest, he can't get on the show, and we'll see where that goes, right? All right, Paul Heyman joins commentary, 68C plus rating, getting a gimmick that's getting a little stale, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and make note of that. Maybe I will fix it up in post. Maybe I will forget. No worker improvements, as it is now time for our main event. Heat Tag Team Championships are on the line. It is the Lords of the Ring versus Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. 55 C- rating, and a poor matchup. The Lords of the Ring defeat Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman in 10 minutes 6 seconds after Sandman got disqualified after going into a rage and refusing to stop assaulting Rob Conway. So, yes, and no here, I suppose, in a way. The Lords of the Ring did indeed win, but are they walking out as the tag team champions? No. Because Sandman probably taking exception to what the Lords of the Ring had to say about him and Tommy Dreamer, maybe not even just liking how they accused them of not being wrestlers and being psychopaths with weapons. Sandman decided to prove them right and say, you know what, you're going to call me a psychopath with a weapon? Well, I got good old Caney here, and I think I'm just going to cane you. And he did exactly that. The referee called for the bell, but that didn't do much good as Sandman and Tommy Dreamer laid out the Lords of the Ring, and they stand tall over Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway. There is no after segment, so that's why I added and told you guys what kind of how it ended right there. Show ends with the 55 C- rating. Conway with a 48 in ring performance. Nick Dinsmore with a 49. Sandman with a 57, and Tommy Dreamer with a 63. We end off the show, and we get ourselves a 65 solid C rating here with no specific comments to be made about the show. Remember, it is a B show, so we cannot lose popularity, and I don't believe we can gain popularity either. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, a like, subscribe if you have not already, and don't forget to share this video with your friends, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams. I don't give a damn. Anybody that you feel would enjoy my content, give them a share and help your homeboy get some new subscribers up in this bitch. And as always, my name has been OMG, WTF, LWBRB. Let's jump to the Twilight Zone. Hope you guys have a great day, and until then, I will see you later. Have a good day, everybody.